Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the massive 2026 logistics shift from the Strait of Hormuz over to Pakistan's overland corridors. We're talking about this because right now, your P&L literally depends on it. If you're involved in international trade, exporting, or logistics in the Middle East and South Asia, you know that the map we all relied on just a year ago has fundamentally changed. We're witnessing a historic structural pivot, and understanding it, well, it isn't just optional anymore. It's absolutely essential for protecting your margins.
$2,800. That staggering number represents the sudden war risk surcharge that started hitting single containers in early 2026. This isn't just some minor administrative fee, it's a massive penalty. It proves that efficiency without redundancy is a total trap when geopolitical friction strikes. When tensions flared up in the Strait of Hormuz, these maritime insurance premiums skyrocketed to completely unsustainable levels. Overnight, the entire cost-benefit analysis of our traditional shipping routes was turned upside down.
So, here's our roadmap for today. 1. The 2026 maritime crisis. 2. Pakistan's new transit pivot. 3. Jebel Ali versus Pakistani ports. 4. A real-world case study. And 5. Your 2026 trade playbook. Section 1. The 2026 maritime crisis. Breaking the traditional trust model. Let's start with the core problem here. The severe choke points and naval tensions that are fundamentally breaking the maritime trust model in the Gulf. For decades, Jebel Ali in the UAE has been the undisputed gravity center for re-export and transshipment in the broader Middle East. Its world-class infrastructure made it the absolute gold standard, right? But as strategic blockades and naval tensions intensified in the Strait of Hormuz, that traditional route suddenly became a massive liability.
Efficiency without redundancy is a trap. That perfectly captures the exact pain point logistics professionals are feeling right now in 2026. A single point of failure easily becomes an extortionate bottleneck. You see, when a highly efficient route lacks any real alternative, even a small disruption paralyzes the whole system. These so-called efficient routes quickly morphed into giant holding patterns. Cargo wasn't just delayed, it was actively bleeding money through demurrage, those hefty penalties for delayed containers and missed market windows. To put the sheer scale of this paralysis into perspective, at one critical stage, over 3,000 Iran-bound containers were completely bottlenecked at Pakistani ports. That created a severe demurrage trap, demanding an immediate structural response. It was a full-blown logistics emergency. The industry hit a breaking point where temporary fixes just weren't going to cut it anymore. We absolutely needed a new way forward.
Section 2. Pakistan's new transit pivot, the overland solution. Let's look at the structural solution that emerged in late April 2026 to bypass those contested waters entirely. When the maritime route faltered, a new terrestrial gateway opened up, shifting the entire paradigm of regional logistics. Enter Pakistan's Ministry of Commerce with a really decisive policy-level intervention: the Transit of Goods Through Territory of Pakistan Order 2026. Now, this isn't just some light administrative easing. It's a heavily regulated framework under the Customs Act 1969. Effective from late April of that year, it formally integrated Pakistani road networks into the global supply chain, opening up crucial border crossings like Gabd and Iftan specifically for third-country goods.
The strategic drivers here are huge: geopolitical risk mitigation, escaping the demurrage trap, and expanding supply grids via CPEC. The crucial takeaway is that smart traders are now entirely bypassing maritime exposure. By activating these land corridors, traders render naval blockades and those crazy maritime war risk surcharges completely irrelevant. They're escaping that demurrage trap, where stranded cargo just hemorrhages cash. Plus, this plugs directly into the broader China-Pakistan economic corridor, allowing traders to build highly resilient supply grids instead of fragile single-line supply chains.
Section 3. Jebel Ali versus Pakistani ports, the head-to-head comparison. Let's cut through the noise and look at the actual realities impacting your bottom line right now.
Look, Jebel Ali is still an absolute powerhouse. It has world-class scale, a mature re-export ecosystem, and incredible global sea connectivity. It's still formidable for high-volume operations. But the Pakistan corridors, specifically Gwadar and Karachi, they provide the immediate edge for targeted, time-sensitive diversions. We're talking direct overland speed, massive cost savings potential of 45% or more on certain routes, and most importantly, immediate risk diversification away from the Strait of Hormuz. Looking at the hard data, the contrast is pretty stark.
Because of the disruptions, Jebel Ali's transit time to Iran became highly variable and totally dependent on sea conditions. Meanwhile, the Gwadar to Gebdov overland route, that can take just a few hours to hit the Iranian border. Cost sensitivity is incredibly high on the traditional route because of those tripled maritime insurance spikes, whereas the overland route drastically slashes those final leg costs. So the winner really depends on your specific cargo and risk tolerance. Lots of operators are actually opting for a hybrid model now.
Pakistan has formally designated 6 key corridors, basically transforming its coastline into a direct launch pad. You've got the Gwadar to Gab sprinting route, the coastal route, the central backbone from Karachi to Taftan, the extended Gwadar-Taftan, and the Gwadar-Lyari variants. In 2026, picking the right artery is honestly just as critical as the product you're selling. If you have urgent cargo, you want the sprinting route. If you have heavy volume bulk, you're looking at the central backbone. Figuring out which of these 6 routes matches your cargo's DNA is your very first strategic step.
Section 4. A real-world case study, navigating the Hormuz bottleneck. Let's ground all this theory in some hard financial reality. We're going to look at a mid-sized industrial polymers distributor based in the Gulf, supplying high-grade resins to manufacturing plants in central Iran. So what exactly happens when the status quo fails? Well, in early 2026, this client had 45 containers sourced from Southeast Asia. Ordinarily, they just transship via Jebel, no big deal. But when a 14-day regional blockade hit, their feeder vessel was straight up denied entry. Suddenly, they were staring down that $2,800 war risk surcharge per container. That's a projected loss of $180,000 from fines and insurance spikes, not to mention a complete factory shutdown in central Iran.
But instead of just waiting around hoping things would clear up, they pivoted. They diverted directly to Gwadar. The containers were cleared within 36 hours. They used GPS-tracked trucks to the Gabd border, where customs data was pre-filed digitally, making the border crossing take just 5 hours. The result? A total transit time of just 9 days, a full 12 days faster than the delayed sea route. And most importantly, they kept production running instead of suffering a massive factory shutdown. By making this shift, they achieved a massive 43% savings in logistics costs per container. They dropped their per container cost from an estimated $14,500 all the way down to just $8,200. This real-world example proves that right now, resilience truly is the new efficiency.
Section 5. Your 2026 Trade Playbook. Tactical Operational Steps. All right, let's establish your operational playbook to overcome the physical and bureaucratic hurdles of these new land corridors. Moving from the highly automated docks of the UAE over to the rugged overland corridors of Baluchistan definitely requires a tactical mindset.
To keep your cargo from just sitting in no man's land, you have to maintain strict operational standards. Step 1. Vet partners for Green Channel border status. They need to be pre-approved for expedited clearance. Step 2. Mandate GPS-tracked, fully insured convoys so you have predictability. Step 3. Use digital document builders for pre-clearance so your paperwork is 100% solid before the truck even leaves the port. And Step 4. Secure your Iranian last-mile providers in advance. You want a synchronized truck-to-truck transfer before the goods even leave Karachi or Gwadar. The difference between those who lose their shirts and those who absolutely thrive in new markets comes down to systems. So, use the pilot shipment strategy. Pre-test your systems with a single container before scaling up. Don't bet the farm on day one, right? Run a pilot, document every single hidden cost, every necessary paper, every tiny delay. Then, use that exact data to build your own internal playbook to capture the advantage as these routes mature.
I'll leave you with this provocative thought as we wrap up today's explainer. Volatility creates winners. The integration of these land corridors into the broader CPEC network means they're built for the next decade of trade, no matter what happens out there in the maritime space. So are you waiting for a normal to return that honestly no longer exists? Or are you building a resilient supply grid and adapting your logistics as a true strategic asset? The choice is entirely yours.